What do you suggest people do with regards to ensuring that they've got a good oral microbiome? We spoke about antiseptic, mouthwashes. I use a fluoride-free. It's a natural mouthwash as long as it doesn't kill bacteria. What else
That's
is
right.
important with regards to oral microbiome? Do we take an oral sort of probiotic, take prebiotic fiber and make sure that it dissolves in your mouth? How important is it to sort of repopulate the microbiome in the mouth?
Well, I think it's critical, and I think the science and especially the clinical data are showing that. Um, so, what we find, we published on this, I think, in 2015, that the greater the diversity of the oral microbiome, the better nitric oxide production you have. So there's several things you've got to do. And if you have gum disease, gingivitis, periodontitis, typically the bad guys will outcompete the good guys. So you have to get your oral health. If you have bad oral health, then you have to get it fixed. And then, we filed a number of patents. We've recognized the nitrate-reducing bacteria that we can predict steady-state blood pressure across many different patient populations. But to answer your question, there's not any oral probiotics that I've found on the market and tested that restore the function of these nitrate-reducing bacteria. But I think it's quite simple, and we published on this, I think, in 2017, that if you simply give more nitrate through the diet, then these bacteria that we're interested in are what's called facultative anaerobic bacteria, meaning that if you give them oxygen or carbon, then they'll respire on that. But if not, then they'll use nitrogen. And so if you preferentially feed them nitrate, which you can do through a plant-based diet or taking a standardized nitrate product, then that acts as a prebiotic. So it wakes these bacteria up, allows them to expand their numbers, and then all of a sudden the good guys outcompete the bad guys, and your body, the ecology of the oral microbiome restores itself. So it may be just as simple as adding more nitrate in your diet that could increase the diversity of the oral microbiome, improve your own nitric oxide production through this pathway, and maybe not a need to take probiotics, maybe prebiotics.
Were these studies done on people that were having mouthwash, that were having antibiotics? The antibiotic goes in the mouth. They're using cortisone. They're using other issues in this area. I mean, is this, you just give nitrates? It sounds like, I think the average antibiotic kills a third of all your microbiome in your gut, whether there's 100 trillion or, there's a whole discrepancy about, how many human cells we've got and what our sort of microbiota is composed of. But, with the pernicious activity and pervasiveness of antibiotics and mouthwashes, it sounds like it, I can't I'm struggling with the concept of just having more nitrates and you've got these specific bacteria that are crucially important in your mouth and obviously down your esophagus and into your gut that are important.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. And so the data we published on in, I think it was 2016 or 2017, was in rats. Because we control the diet of the rats, we control their environment. And so there you have a controlled situation. It's very hard to control the diet and the activity of humans. Yeah. In fact, it's probably impossible. So what we did, it was a proof of principle study just showing if we give more nitrate through the diet, and we did tongue scrapings on these rats and we measured their blood pressure normalized, the diversity of the oral microbiome improved, and we were able to culture more of these nitrate reducing bacteria. So does that translate into humans? The short answer is we don't know. But anecdotally, we can see by using our test strip that if you just add more nitrate in the diet, then the ability to convert the test strip seems to improve. And we can see this within 90 minutes. But to your point, if you continue to use mouthwash, if you continually have a bad diet, and don't monitor all these other stress hormones and all these other things, then I think it's going to continually disrupt that oral microbiome. So you have to make a lot of changes. We understand what it takes to make the nitric oxide production pathways work, and we've got product technology that can overcome that. But unless you fix the reason you got sick in the first place, then we're basically just putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding wound. You have to get to the root cause of it.
Good. Let's talk about hydrogen peroxide, ozone. A lot of these therapies that I've used, I'm using I interviewed Dr. Thomas Levy, the cardiologist.